Flosstube. It's Linda from Richter Stitcher. I'm not sure the last time I was on, maybe 3 weeks ago, and it is now June I think it's the 8th today. My phone is up there, so, and I don't have a calendar that's probably up to date. I used to have one, but it says June 8th back there, but I could be off a day or two by the time this gets up. But I wanted to come on and share what I've worked on since the last time I came on after my long break. I've got some haul, as well as a finish that I actually gave to my grandbaby, but I will insert pictures of that when the time comes. Of course, the whips that I've worked on for cross stitch, crochet, a couple makes, and future plans. I think what I will start with though is last time I wanted to kind of maybe each time I come on share a previous cross stitch that either I started with or was in the making for a long time, like back in the 80s. This one that I'm going to share is one that I started when I came back to cross stitch, which was around 2017, 2018. It was one of the first ones that I did after hearing and seeing all the different things that has changed in cross stitch. This one, of course, because it's summer, we're into the heat of Texas now, and it's June. It starts our lake life, so that's kind of the title of this one. I'll have to share a little bit about the finishing. I did not do this finishing myself. I wasn't real pleased with it when it came out, but because I didn't know, who was good, who wasn't, and what they would do, and then what we did to it to make it work at the lake. We had to do a few fixings in the back, etc., but I'll try to get close as I can. I think the frame came from Hobby Lobby. I've covered it up in the back, so I really can't say positively, but I think it was one of those sale items they had. And being like beachy kind of feel, I went with the striped, and then like the anchor kind of hooks that they have. Kind of wanted to blend it in, but the actual pattern, I'm trying to remember, pretty sure, oh, it had a different name. I'm gonna have to put it below. Sorry about that, but it's a different designer's name. I mean, it's on the tip of my tongue, but I can't think of it. But the title is Lake Life. And I didn't tweak the design any, but when I found the buttons, I said, that's perfect, because my husband and I, with Mickey and Minnie and, both of us together always, I thought that would be a cute little finish. So I had the framer at Hobby Lobby. I told her I didn't want it too bulky, but I mean, it doesn't look so bulky here in the front, but she wanted to inlay the little figures that I gave her next to the work, so that's kind of what she did. So I was pleased with that, but the fact that it was really bulky on the back, she said she couldn't do anything about that. And because we wanted to hang it at the lake lot, I mean, at first we thought we could magnetize it to the refrigerators, and that's what these were for. I could probably take those off now, but right now we currently have it hanging inside of our lake lot. It's a metal building, so it goes on the wall in there, and that's kind of why we did that. But it is kind of bulky. I don't know if you can see it from the photo or not, but I don't know what else I could do to fix that. So maybe someday we'll change it out, but for now I do keep it up at the shop and hang it on the wall. It's just a reminder of my starts to lake life, and thought that would be I think it's just 14 count Ada with the little trees and the campfire and Adirondack chairs kind of things, what we do out at the lake. So that was my very first finish getting back into cross stitch. And like I said, I'll put the info below if anybody's interested. Sticking with cross stitch, it's just a few things that I've worked on in the last few weeks, mainly because we're all talking about the 250th. I pulled this one out. It's called the stitcherhood, the Quaker flag. I'm just using some DMC. I'll get closer so you can kind of see. I use these tags, I think I've mentioned. I just put the name of the pattern on it and put it with the flosses, so if they get dislocated, I'll know what those flosses go to, as well as I put a tag on the actual frame piece. But I did a little bit more. Before, I just had the red, and a few of these had the white in them, so I finished the few on the end here with the white in the middle, came up here and did a few stitches, and probably today sometime I'm going to come over here and start the blue for the part of the flag. Do I have the pattern? Let me see. Yes, I do. Kind of show you what the actual finished is supposed to look like. So I do want to start the blue and get some more color in there. And each row will be either white or red, with the red in the middle or the white in the middle. So I'm hoping it'll go fairly quickly. Not sure I'll actually finish it this year, but I like to stitch in the season, so that has been worked on the way home yesterday in the car, believe it or not, because this is only a, I have it written down here. Yes, it's a beautiful beige 16 count Aida, so it's fairly easy to see. I do use my mag eyes in the car. They're like little visors that I've shared before. So that's kind of what I've been working on going to and from the lake this past couple weeks that we've been going. I'm just going to set things back here. And because of the 250th, I shared last time I wanted to attempt, and this is in the sewing realm, but it's Fat Quarter Shop's portfolio tutorial. So I did get through it. I had a little mishap with the cam snaps because I thought I had the actual crimping tool and did not, so I'll share that with my haul because I had to purchase that. I hear a helicopter out there. Sorry guys. Got a little loud there for a minute. But it's a very simple tutorial. I actually have that cross stitch I just shared. The pattern is in here on the zippy part, and I can pull that out, but I did use a different fabric and I put the vinyl in there. I'm not too worried about it getting, people kind of are concerned with how it sticks and sometimes it comes off. I would say it does happen, so not always should you do that, but I'm not too concerned being a portfolio that it folds up. If it was a bag and the plastic was on the outside, I'd be a little more concerned. But because I would like more portfolios for a lot of my projects, I will make more, and that is future plans. But there's a little magnet here for your needle, and the flosses do stick to the batting is what that's there. My stitching's not real straight. The zipper works pretty good. It's not a by any zipper, so I do prefer those, the double zippers especially. But it works, and the cam snaps, once I did get the right tools, do snap. And like I said, I will be making more of these, but for the 4th and the 250th, I thought I'd start with the red, white, and blue. So I'm very pleased with that, and the stabilizer that's in the middle is pretty firm, which I like. It's not the, what's that called? Soft and stable, because that's really thick. This is a little thinner, which is fine because it's flat enough to go in a bag, which I really like, and I think it might actually fit in some of my project bags that I've made. At least that's the plan. So that was a make that I did this last time, and a finish. So I've had a couple finishes with the quilt and then the portfolio. Still, I am working on, what do you call this? It's the Blackbird, The Air of Other Summers, I think is the title. So that has been on my working with list. We are using, of course I should probably put on my glasses if I can find them, within all of this stuff. Let's see, not sure. I made a few changes. A lot of weeks dye works are in the pattern. Probably come up here a little closer. Instead of sanguine, I'm using Calico Kitty. I think I shared these last time. Instead of straw, I'm using tea and biscuits. Tennessee Red Clay, I did have that one. And then, sometimes these are hard to read. Instead of the Oscar, I'm using Flatfish. And then I had a tiny bit of cocoa, so I didn't change that one out either. For the sage, I'm using Stepping Stones instead of the beige that I had said earlier. Instead of Dirt Road, I'm using Caramel, and for the beige, I'm using Prairie Grass. So I've made a few different changes here. Pelican's Gray, I'm using Fisherman's Wharf. So those were the called for, as well as what I switched them with. I'll set those down. And I've done a little bit more since you've seen it down in here in this area. Some of the red flowers. Sorry that I didn't iron, but it is out of this book, The Sewing Club, Blackbird Designs. But I'm very pleased with the progress. My border did meet up. I think I mentioned that last time. And just the colors, I'm really pleased on this fabric, which, what did I say it was? I didn't, did I? I got this from Hoops and Needles. It's Fiber on a Whim, 40 count Dirty Snow. So I like the greenish tint, kind of beige, but it's got some green in there. I'm not sure what my lighting looks like in the camera, but very pleased how small it's going to be, and I will make it into a pillow, probably myself. I don't usually have a finisher that I know of. Like I said, with that first one that I did years ago, it kind of, wouldn't say scared me away, but I like to try new things, so I'm going to attempt it. If I can't figure it out, then I will get some advice and have someone help me. But that got worked on a little bit more this past few weeks. And these are the three, or two so far, but the third one here I'm going to share, that I've been keeping out and probably will keep out till I get a good amount done on them before I decide to put them away. But I am always wanting to start new things, which brings in this next one, as well as one of my hauls, but I haven't started it yet. This one I have started, and it is, I don't know if working at Hoops and Needles is a good thing or a bad thing in the regards to doing all the things, because I see what people are working on and then I want to start something. So they were starting the Garden of Quilts, which is a Lori Holt design. There's a few of us, I'm trying to remember. I know Peggy, and I know Terry's done this one, but Peggy was starting it, and Brooke, I think, has started it. And then, of course, I wanted to start it myself, so I got a little bit started on it with the flower, so the very corner flower up here. And I'm doing this one on Fiber on a Whim also, Milk and Honey, and this one's an 18 count. And my colors, I went with the DMC conversion, which I'm loving the look of on this fabric. But I got a good start on the first flower there in the corner. I should have taken it out of the hoop. I don't know if it's showing up very well. So I just finished a little bit of that flower yesterday on the way home in the car. I did a little bit, as well as this morning I was working on it to get some more done. But it's slow going for me when it comes to cross stitch, but I do enjoy the process. So that one got started, and I'll keep it on the hoop, and I put it in the living room on my Lowry stand when I'm home. Otherwise it goes in all of the bags that I take to the lake. So that was the third cross stitch that got worked on while I took that little break. The only cross stitch that I've worked on is my mother's shawl, and it's pretty long, so I've only gotten maybe 2 rows back and forth done. But she comes the end of July, towards the end of July, for a couple weeks. So I'm hoping to have the yarn that I have this ball here that I'm working on, and one more. So however long that ends up being, it's just gonna go around to keep, you know, her shoulders a little warm, but plenty long enough, I think. And if she wants to wrap it around her neck, she could do that as well. But I'm very pleased with the pattern. Now that I've done it back and forth so many times, I kind of know, and I don't have to look at the pattern to see how many. You can just look at the actual stitch and say, okay, I'm here, I need to do this many. And that's what I love about crochet, is just after you do so many, you kind of learn. So I love the fact that it's drapey, as well as the pattern itself, almost spider webbish looking, but I love how that looks. And then on the blue, of course, that's another. But this particular yarn that I'm using, I should say, is Lion brand, and the color's aquatic. But I was looking to see, it's called Beautiful You. I can show you the actual brand. It's a Lion brand. And I am using a 5.0 millimeter hook. And of course, my favorite hooks are the Furls currently. And I'm using this gold one. I have several, I think I have a lot of different sizes, from 2 all the way up to 10. But yeah, it's the Furls hook, 5 millimeter. And this Beautiful You yarn is a size 2, it says. So that's why I think it gets the nice drape. And with this hook, it's perfect. So I will probably be using that again if I want to make a shawl, knowing how particular yarns drape. So just very lightweight, and for Texas it's perfect because we keep it chilly in the house, and so if I needed something like this, I could easily make something up. And my mom lives in Tennessee, which also, it gets a little warm too, and I'm sure when she's sitting, something around her shoulders will be nice. So I've just been carrying around in this little bag that my friend Jan, again, always sends me links, and it's an Amazon if anybody's interested. Love how soft it is, and I put my little hooks in the top. So a little bit of haul here, but I love it. It's called Wandering Nature. It's just a little bag that zips at the top. It does zip at the bottom also. I'm not sure the purpose of that, but without getting my yarn zipped up in it, you just gotta be careful. But it also has a zip on the inside of the bag. But I like, of course, the teal, and it fits this project perfect, and I just goes and comes with me wherever I'm going. It's always in the car. So that was my crochet that I worked on. Oops, I better put this back with my floss. So let me think, what else do we have here? I guess I can share, like I said, the quilt for my grandbaby. I'll insert some pictures here of the finish, as well as I was doing mostly the binding between the last time and now that I'm sharing it. Got finished. I did a lot of the quilting as well beforehand, but the binding is what I got stuck on. So because of that, I had to make sure that both sides, because I did it on the machine, not by hand, I was trying to be quicker about it, and I really wanted to learn how to get both sides to attach. So Terry at work was very helpful and shared her tip on what she did, so I went home and tried it. And the first time I did it, it was all wonky, and so I had to redo it. And as you'll see in the pictures, it was much straighter. I mean, not perfect, but it's good enough for my grandbaby and me that as I practice, I'm hoping I'll get better at it. But very thankful to Terry's handy tip that helped me to get it straighter on my machine. So that was a wonderful finish. I mean, it was supposed to be done in January, but I finished it by the first week in June is what it was. And so she came to the lake last weekend, and I had my husband take pictures, which you'll see, of us holding it. And now that she's 4 years old, I wanted to have every year some kind of a quilt, doll quilt or bed quilt made. So now I got to think about, for 5 years, what should it be. And I have purchased a few fabrics and think that maybe either Mary Poppins might be a possibility, or maybe Wizard of Oz. I'm not quite sure she's really into that yet, but I think these fabrics from Mary Poppins will be good because they've just got lots of little kids flying kites with bikes, and she's into riding her bike. Probably insert some pictures somewhere in this video of her helmet and her riding her bike. So she's growing fast. It's just amazing. 4 years has gone by already, and she's having a ball. Whenever she comes to Grandma and Grandpa, she wants to go to the lake. So I think we're going to be known as either the lake parents or she just has a ball whenever she comes. I think, you know, I do a lot of things with her, and she just loves to play. So so I have bought a few fabrics from the Mary Poppins line. Of course, Hoops and Needles does carry a few of them. They've not restocking or anything, but what we do have, you can call the shop if you're interested in those. But I'm sure they're out at a lot of different places that you can find. This one actually is the panel, and that's the way I've been doing a lot of my quilts lately, especially for Briar, because they're quicker and easier. But I've got this one and one other, I think, of Mary Poppins, and I just got to maybe I could put one on the front, one on the back. But they're just the houses with Mary Poppins, of course, different things, the London Bridge, the carousels, just so cute. And I think it's by Riley Blake, if I'm not mistaken. It's called, what is it called? A Spoonful of Sugar by Jennifer Long. It's called Sew a Story, but yes, it's Riley Blake Designs. So I'm sure if you Googled it, or like I think a couple of these I got off Amazon. But that's, I think, going to be the one that I'm going to gear towards over Wizard of Oz. I do have a Wizard of Oz one started, but it was my favorite movie as a kid, so I'll probably keep that one for me. And like I said, do something like this for my grandbaby. And dropping things. Here we go. So that's a future plan there. As for other makes, I went a little crazy on the jewelry this week. So a lot of zipper or bag tags, I don't know what people call them, but I think I mentioned the little hook sets that I bought off Amazon. They're like keychains, and I just went through all of my supplies of beads. What I still probably need to do is these unscrew at the bottom, and just to ensure that they don't come loose, I used this, it's for beading actually, B7000, yeah, B7000 glue. Be sure you're ventilated if you're using it, because it does give off a strong smell, and you don't want to pass out. I mean, some people use E6000, but for beading, I think it sticks better. It doesn't, because E6000 is more tacky, whereas the 7000 is almost like super glue. It does say multi-purpose adhesive, and it does dry clear, but just, you know, be cautious and safety conscious when using it. So I made several of these. I mean, this is a red one. Of course, I went with the 4th of July themes on a lot and found a lot of my little, what you call them? I don't know what these are. Just little chain. I mean, there's flags. I got a flag down at the bottom. So I can either gift these, put them on project bags. I made several with the actual beads. This is an old one here, but can kind of just show you. It's a lot of little, there's like the Statue of Liberty on some of them. Some of them are just stars. So really all I have to do to actually finish, this one's like a keychain with just a bunch of stars on it, is take the bottoms and unscrew them and make sure they don't come loose with that glue. This one I put, oops, dropped one. This is just an old earring, but it has little sparkles at the bottom, so I just added that to it. Thought that would be a little cute addition. This one's kind of clunky, but some people like this kind of stuff, and like I said, I might give them as gifts. They're just really big, dangly, sparkly. And then, of course, my blues. I went with blues and greens. Some have the crystallese, and some have like a heart with little jewels on the top. Hope these are coming through on here. Old pieces of jewelry that I've just taken my pliers and stuff and put together. Same with these, have little leaves on them, purple jewels. This one has the blue, just more of a different design. So yeah, I kind of went a little crazy this past week and said I need to get some of these things together. Anybody's soccer mom? Got little soccer jewels on there. And then I haven't finished the goldish ones, but I did put some stars on them, little keychains. Could probably add more on these, but we'll see what happens. I got this one started. It says Faith. Just needs a little more to it, I think, with the little red flower. And then this one has the stars, red, white, and blue. So I'll add something to these shorter ones just because I like a little more to them than what they're showing. And then lastly, this one just says love. So some can be plain, some are, you know, a little more extravagant. I think this is actually the last one. I had this little keychain and thought, what could I add to it? So it's a little heart with red, white, and blue, and a red, white, and blue flower. So just little, I mean, these can be little zipper tags. They have the little lobster claw attachment. So that's kind of some of the things that I did this week when it came to makes. I mean, I have this here that I'm getting ready to do, is some red, white, and blue earrings. I want to put those together. Let's continue on with haul, I guess. I mentioned this is called a snap fastener. I didn't have the right tool to crimp my what are those things called? Cam snaps onto the portfolio. So this is the tool, and I'll link it below, but I just got it off of Amazon because Fat Quarter Shop had linked it in their video. So I just went on and found it, and I think it was like $10. And you get a bunch of different cam snaps. Some of them aren't just the round ones. They have hearts or stars. Just there's an assortment of colors as well as shapes. So I will end up using these when I make the more portfolios, but easy tool to use. But it also does eyelets and things like that if you need it for that. But I purposely bought it for the cam snaps. And it just comes in this box, of course, in the teal color. They had a pink one as well, but if they've got this color, I'm going to go with that over the pinks. So that was a purchase, Amazon. Let's see, couple purchases from Hoops and Needles because I work there and it's just easy to get. I went ahead and bought, well, I didn't know she had this, but she came out to share one of the R&R reproductions fabrics that just came in. So it's the Edinburgh 18th Century Rook. I don't know the color's coming, but it's almost a dark gray almost. There's a little greenish to it, I guess, but it's one of the newer ones. I got a 1/4 yard of that, so that I was very pleased to get because I don't have a whole lot of R&R in my stash. So when she said that, I was just like, yes, please. And then I bought this one purposely because I don't do a lot of color, but because of the pattern, I had to get a red. And so I found this Scarlett Belfast by Sajou, and I think it'll be perfect for this Tamahto. I know there's a lot of, I don't know if it was in May or is it June, there was a tomato sale going on. So of course that grabbed me, and I told myself, okay, I need a tomato in my life, and as big as this tomato is going to be, I think it'll be perfect because I do have, and maybe I can slip in, just a collection going of different pin cushions and tomatoes that this could go with if I end up finishing it. The only thing I don't have for it is the floss, which is going to be a white, but I don't know if I want to do it in silk or sulky or DMC. I just, I'll have to look and see how bright it looks on this red fabric. But those both were purchases from Hoops and Needles this past week and a half or so. I think it was a week ago that I purchased those. We sell cap sets at Hoops and Needles, and I think we were just straightening them up and getting them organized when I came across these ones. This is When Snow Falls by Deb Strain. I probably have more fabrics in my stash somewhere that will match this by her, but I just love the birds as well as the snow, and there's some plains in there as well, but these will be so pretty, either using them for the backs of finishes, or even, if I decide to do a project bag out of something like this, that could be the lining of inside of one of them. That's kind of what I'm thinking for the larger pieces anyways. They won't do the back folder part, but the inside where the vinyl goes, that would be perfect. So that was one. And then the other one is a stocking, like I don't know what you call it. Gives you instructions to make a stocking with the same line. So that will be actually two. It looks like two stockings that I could make. One with the sparrows and one with the cardinals. Of course, the instructions are on it, upside down. But that's kind of the things I've been doing lately. I'll have to take some pictures and insert them, but I made it's for kids. They're little pillows, different animals. I think there were 4 different animals that you stuff after you cut them out. So I'm kind of getting in the habit of some of the, like you do for wool applique. You have to cut everything out and sew it together. So that's kind of what those finishes were also. So I had a few finishes this last few weeks between work projects as well as things that I wanted to finish and pass on to my grandbaby. So I'm feeling good about things that are getting done and not just sitting around, but there's still so much more to do. Because I said 2017, after trying to get the craft room in order the last few years, I have collected and started a lot of things. So there's always going to be stuff to do, right? So that's just me, and I do enjoy it, but I've got a coffee quilt going, just things that I want to pull out as I get them done. So now that I've got one out the door, I can pull another one out, and it's kind of the way I've been doing things. the last few bits of haul, I think I shared these last time, and I mentioned I was going to get the other ones. The Alpha Clippies, I'm really liking those. I think I had them on that board that I was sharing my cross stitch with, but they are really strong and bigger than the Wonder Clips. I still use the Wonder Clips when I'm sewing, but for like the binding on that quilt that I made for my grandbaby, these were perfect. Some of them are numbered or lettered, but the second set that I bought was more just the design, which I tend to use like when I'm clipping things on a board. But they're so cute, and they are, I like the way they clip. They're strong. They're not flimsy. So even having a couple of these in your cross stitch bag to clip onto something, that's kind of what I've been doing. And then when I bring sewing to the lake, these are the clippies that I've been using. So if you're interested in the quilty clippies or the Alpha Clippies, you can see the different colors or letters or numbers. That's what those are, and I can link them below. So those were more haul, always hauls, right? I finally got a couple, well, I made this one anyway. This actually came off of a glass that has broke over the years, and I didn't want to throw it away. Of course, it's Texas and it's blingy. So I just bought one of those nickel type magnets, and I used the E7000 to make a magnet for on one of my projects, or if I need something to clip on here. Needles on here stick nicely with that, but I like to decorate themed wise, so I did make a little magnet minder, I guess that's what they call them, for Texas. Future plans, I think I've mentioned. Let me put this up here. This fabric, I seen somebody made a block with it, but I might fussy cut some of this into a portfolio. So I think that'll be my next portfolio over the red, white, and blue one that I did. But I also found my little block from Holt that I made, and I pulled some fabrics that I thought might go with it. So I'm thinking a project bag for this over the portfolio for, this is called Strawberry Thief. But all these fabrics will either go with the project bag or the portfolio. But I found a cap set that I hadn't used, but I had pulled the colors for. Lots of the greens, and it's got the birds and the trees, just so pretty. So these are some fabrics I think for my next portfolio, whether I get it done the next time I come on. Linings be good for the inside of the vinyl part of the lining, and I think for the project bag, maybe the top part of the bag for a border. These greens will go nicely, I think, with the bee. So between a project bag and a portfolio, that's kind of my next small sewing project that I want to do. I actually have the soft and stable for this one, but what I was thinking is, what are those, just the small ones that you put your threads in. I was thinking of using that with these fabrics, as well as I have this polka dot one that would be good for the project bag itself because it's actually in the bee. So I'll end up using these fabrics to make my next project bag, floss holder, I guess they call them. I think I had one here somewhere. Yeah, Como Stitches, I bought this one, but you know, thread mess, just kind of hide it away with a little piece of felt. So that's kind of what I was thinking for this, either in the polka dot to match the project bag and put it, you know, inside. So that should be a fun one. Since I've done one already, I kind of know the process, and I look forward to making after you do one and you kind of get a bearings how it it works. It's not so scary. Because I still think of myself as a beginner sewer, even though I've been sewing since high school. But everything I try is always something new and different, so it's always a learning process. Lastly, haul, perfect for travel. If you're looking for, it's considered a heat press, but it's a Cricut, but it's small. They make bigger ones, but for the piecing and the small things that I do at the lake, instead of hauling my huge Aliso or even my mini, which is down there, I kind of use it with my machines if I'm going somewhere, but for travel in the car to take to the lake, this is perfect. It heats up as soon as you plug it in. There's no buttons or anything. So, and it comes with a little tray. So just be mindful of that. I do use like a small wool mat underneath it so it doesn't warp anything. And the other plus is that it has a super long cord. So if you need to plug it in down on the floor and still stand and do your thing, it's perfect. So I have used it this past weekend and I loved how it presses, which brings me to my last sewing whip that I've been doing. I took my squares finally and took it to the lake this past weekend, and I got 3 of the 4 rows for this what I'm calling a stitchy mat, something to set down when I'm go somewhere to do stitching. But the pressing on it, I mean, I don't know if you can see, I love how flat things get with the Cricut as well as my wool mat. I mean, they just press open really easily with that little tip on the corner. So I'm liking the colors on this as well. So I've just got one more row to stitch together, and then I'll sew those together and then think about the back, what kind of a backing I want to use. But it's a process and I'm loving the process of it. This coming week on Thursday we have our monthly featherweight club, so I'll be doing that, and probably this will be the project that I take with me if I have time to sit and sew. But okay, hi friends, it's Linda from Richter Stitcher. I wanted to share this little segment in my recording promo, or whatever they call it when you advertise for my place of business. They have some new items that I've been kind of collecting. I've been given a couple, but I also purchased some myself. But Candy, the owner of Hoops and Needles, makes these t-shirts, and she has them displayed, and I can pop in some pictures maybe. I think I took a few of what we have displayed currently. She's trying to come up with some more ideas, and of course with our grand opening that we just had back in May, we made some for the workers, and this was the first one. It just says Hoops and Needles Therapy in Session. So she's got the V-necks, she's got a couple that have a cowl down at the bottom, or a different kind of a bottom, not just a regular t-shirt, but more casual, goes over top of your slacks. But those are some styles that she has. This one, like I said, is the V-neck with the sleeves. I don't think I have any regular cowls because I prefer my V-necks. So because of that, there's a couple different styles. There's this one that says Love to Stitch, and you can also have one with the same flowers that says Love to Sew. So we kind of carry 2 sewers as well as stitchers at Hoops and Needles because we carry a lot of the supplies. So I'm not going to model each of these, but we have a couple different ones. Of course, with the 250th of America, we are doing several designs. This is one that won out. She asked us all to vote. It's got the flowers, and you can do different colored t-shirts with this design. We just thought the blue looked good with this one. It says 250 years and it has the dates 1776 to 2026. And this is also a V-neck. But we go from small, medium, large, extra large, 2XL, and 3XL, I think, are the sizes. There might be, I don't think she does a lot of extra smalls, but just depends on the color of the shirt and style that you get. And so this one was given to me, let's see if I can hold it up here. It's also a V-neck. It says Sew Sisters. So she's got some white designs that would go good on any color t-shirt. Back to the 4th of July, we have this one I got for my husband. He did not mind the flowers on it at all, but it's also a 250-year freedom. So this is a cowl neck regular t-shirt. So you can get them for men or women, but did that one in red. So lots of different colors. I know there's purple, but I just wanted to pop in the different styles of t-shirts that we have at Hoops and Needles. You can call the shop. I'll have the information down below in my description box. You can have that if you're interested in ordering. We do ship, but it has nothing to do with my Flosstube, but they do sell cross-stitch products also, and that's where I'm getting a lot of my supplies lately. As well as these t-shirts, very handy to come in handy for gifts, family members, might be a good idea for kids. Don't think we have children's sizes, but we might consider doing something like that. I'll have to talk to Candy, but a lot of the adults come in for like women's retreats and they want to get something for a friend, so they are kind of neat to have that option also, besides all of the fabrics and cross-stitch supplies. So I just wanted to share that with you, and thanks for watching. Okay, I did want to put in here also, there's just a couple more things. Probably don't need my glasses, but one of the hauls that I did end up purchasing on Amazon, of course, I actually stuck one of my zipper pulls that I mentioned. I like to have little zipper pulls. This one says Stitcher. These actually go on top of what are these called? Your Stanley cups, but they also have a hole that you can put on your key rings. I actually made this one with the Beatrix Potter bags that I had done for the ladies at Hoops and Needles. So I put it on this bag, but this is a really nice size, but I can kind of see how they put a little pocket here with the strap and then the zipper, but this is perfect for my sewing projects back and forth. So that was another haul that I got off Amazon that I can link. It says Lori Holt Be in My Bonnet on the front, but you can also put, like, you know, your cell phone in that zippy pocket. There's no zippy pockets on the inside. It's just one big pocket that, you know, you can put your, you know, my crochet could go in here. Any of the fabrics I want to use for a project. It's pretty big though, so I do like it. I like all the old pictures. She's got like the old pattern ladies that you would see on the patterns that you used to get. There's yarn. Just, it's really cute. So I've been using that to carry things back and forth. And I'm not sure if I shared this the last time. I did remember this is Flosstube 31, but I was making hand lotions. It's called like a body butter kind of thing, but this is for your hands. This one I can tell is a honeysuckle because I can really smell it. But what's so cute about it is the molds that you can get off Amazon are little bees, and I forget I'll link the YouTube I watched, but they shared like what type of, and this is just a coffee filter, but you cut it down to fit these tins, and then I put some stickers on the front. You can see that. My camera's a little further away this time. But I make these up ever so often. I only have 2 left, it looks like, for gifting, so I might be making some more of those here in the next month or 2. I like to keep them on hand just because they make great gifts for your hands. Keeps them really soft. The other thing I was going to share is Facebook page that I follow, Kathleen Tracy. She puts out on her Facebook page some sewing patterns, and being the 4th of July, Liberty 250th, she has one out this month that's free for 2026. It's called Liberty Stars Mini Quilt. So she shares on the Facebook page in the files the pattern, so I can link that below if you're interested. But I had found these fabrics in my stash of seasonal things. I think this came in a fat quarter bundle, one of those boxes, a couple years ago. But it's got at least, I'm thinking plenty to make some of these blocks. I'll see how long it lasts for each of the blocks. But I'm thinking that'll be some of my future plans for patriotic stitching in the regards of sewing. But this one's called Stateside by Moda. I don't know if it's still available or not, but that's my plan with the mini quilt for Kathleen Tracy. And I think lastly, I thought I'd share just a couple people, and I'll link them all below, that I've been watching lately on Flosstube. There are so many out there. Of course, I love to watch Jessica Sweetwater Stitcher. She has a lot of course, when I watch a Flosstube, I tend to go and find something to buy, but she shares a lot in that regard. So I like to watch her and see what she's been up to. She's been knitting a lot lately. I don't do a whole lot of knitting. I do more crochet. So she's getting me to want to try my knitting and pull it back out again. So I know she makes a lot of different things, and I like to kind of see what she's been up to. So Sweetwater Stitcher on YouTube, Jessica's one of those. A good friend that I've just started to get to know at Hoops and Needles, Courtney. She has a Flosstube here also called Courtney Crosses, and she just hit her 500 mark, so we need to give her a few more subs. And if you like big projects as well as just, she does a lot of stitching. She goes, and I mean, every time I see her, she's got something started. So Courtney is her name, but Courtney Crosses, I'll link her below also. She's got a lot of things that she shares, and she's been doing, I think, weekly Flosstubes. So I haven't been able to keep up myself personally, but every couple weeks I go and binge watch all of them. So if you're looking for more people to watch, she's another good one. Of course, the usuals, Brenda and Laura. I just finished their newest one today, and I love seeing all of the things that they share. I was watching Sully Stitches. She is another one. I think her name is Tara, but she shares a ton of stuff also with finishes, and it's just all eye candy. And another one is just went out of my head. She's from the UK. Oh, I can see her face. I'll have to link it below, but she shares a lot of stuff. I love, of course, the accents that we get when you hear these ladies from over in the UK as well as Ireland, and just there's so many. Yeah, my mind just went blank. So anyway, those are the few that I have been watching lately, and hope that you'll go and like and subscribe to their channels also. It's just fun to see all the different things that everybody's doing. Of course, it gets me excited to keep stitching and keep crafting. So I do appreciate your follows as well as your comments. If I can answer any questions that will help you, feel free to leave a comment below. And hopefully we'll see you in a few weeks. Thanks. Bye-bye.